Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Thorn, CEO of Thorn Technologies. I'm excited to introduce SFTP Gateway version 2.0. We've added a lot of exciting features to version 2.0, including a web-based admin portal so you can easily manage your users, high availability with network load balancer and autoscaling groups, encrypted EFS for data at rest, user federation with LDAP or Active Directory, audit logging with CloudWatch logs, and a command line interface and REST-style API for you to automate user creation. In this video, I'll show you how to easily spin up a high availability SFTP Gateway cluster using our CloudFormation template. Okay, now I'm going to show you how easy it is to launch an instance of SFTP Gateway version 2.0. Our recommended way of launching SFTP Gateway is through CloudFormation. We have a couple CloudFormation templates that you can choose from. We have a multi-instance template that will create a high availability setup that has multiple instances of SFTP Gateway across multiple availability zones using a network load balancer. We also have a single instance CloudFormation template that will launch only one instance of our AMI and reduce your AWS application usage fees. For this demo, I'm going to launch the multi-instance CloudFormation stack to show you all the options. From the AWS Management Console, let's go to the CloudFormation console. Okay, I'm going to click on Create New Stack, and I have my S3 URL right here. I'm going to click Next. Okay, I'm going to give a stack a name, SFTP Gateway v2.0 demo. Okay, so now we have a couple parameters that we need to provide values for. The first one is called bucket access. This allows us to decide what kind of permission that we want to give SFTP Gateway. We can choose open, which will give full S3 full access to the EC2 instances. This is useful if you want to let SFTP Gateway create new buckets for you. If you already know your bucket and you want to restrict permissions to just a single bucket, you can use restricted permission. And then you can provide your default bucket name here. And then SFTP Gateway will only have permission to that single bucket. For this demo, we'll use a default bucket name of SFTP Gateway v2 demo. The desired capacity parameter allows us to specify how many EC2 AMI instances of SFTP Gateway the CloudFormation template will launch. If greater than 1, it will distribute the EC2 instances across multiple availability zones. For this demo, we'll leave the capacity set at the default value of 2. The disk volume size is the size of the EBS volume for each EC2 instance. Again, we'll leave the default volume size of 32 gigabytes set. The EC2 type is the instance type that we will launch. For larger workloads, we recommend a larger instance, but for this demo, we're going to leave the default of T2 medium set. The EFS encryption option, we'll leave that set to true. For the HA stack, we use EFS to synchronize download directories across multiple EC2 instances. By default, we set the encryption to true, which is helpful for compliance reasons that require data at rest to be encrypted. The input CIDR range allows us to set an IP address range that has access to port 22 on the SFTP Gateway servers. We'll leave this open to the world right now for this demo and use the 0 CIDR range. The key pair is used to access the SFTP Gateway servers as the EC2 user over SSH. New in version 2.0, this should not be necessary, as all the management can be done through our web-based user interface, which I'll show you shortly. The VPC IP range allows you to choose the Class C IP address range for the VPC. The CloudFormation template will automatically provision your VPC and your subnets for the SFTP Gateway. We have another version of the CloudFormation template that allows you to select an existing VPC if that is what you wish. Finally, we can specify our web admin password. After the CloudFormation template launches, it will give us the host name of our admin interface, and then we will need this password to log in and set up users. So I'm going to set my password here and then hit next. Okay, the rest of the stack options are the default options with CloudFormation. If you want more information on these, you can look at the CloudFormation documentation. We're just going to click next and review our parameters. Everything looks good. Our CloudFormation template will create the appropriate IAM resources according to the permissions that we defined earlier. So I need to check this box to acknowledge that it will create IAM roles for us. And then create stack. Okay, so now the stack is being created. It will take a few minutes because our CloudFormation template will create the entire infrastructure needed to run SFTP Gateway in a high availability environment. This includes the VPC, subnets in multiple availability zones, the network load balancer, multiple EC2 instances, and auto-scaling groups. Let's refresh this. You can see all the instances that are, or all the resources that are being created in the Events tab. So this will take a few minutes to complete. Okay, so while the stack is being created, let me show you a little bit about the architecture we're creating. The CloudFormation template will create the VPC, two subnets, called subnet A and subnet B. Instances of our SFTP Gateway AMI will be launched inside of each subnet. They will both share a mount of EFS, Elastic File System, which is used for keeping the downloads from the S3 bucket and for shared configuration and properties files. A network load balancer is created to balance between the two EC2 instances in each availability zone. Okay, let's check the status of our stack now. We hit refresh. Okay, and the status is now complete, so everything has been created. So now that the stack is up and running, let's go to the Outputs tab. You can see here what is shown in the output is the host name of our network load balancer. This is what we'll use to connect to the web administrative interface. So I highlight that and copy it. We just simply paste this into a new tab of the browser. Okay, here's the landing page for our SFTP Gateway admin console. Unlike version 1.0, which required you to SSH into the SFTP Gateway instance as the EC2 user to complete the setup of SFTP Gateway 2.0 is completely automated. All you need to do is go to the admin web interface to begin creating your users. Let's do that now. This landing page shows some basic getting started information. SFTP Gateway launches with a self-signed HTTPS certificate. When you first load in your browser, you'll get this warning from your browser saying that your connection is not private. If you want to avoid this error, you can add your own SSL certificate. Follow these instructions for how to bypass this warning from your browser. So we'll click here to access the admin interface. Click Advanced, and then proceed to our URL. This is the main login screen for SFTP Gateway Admin. At this time, only one username named admin is available. Enter the password that we created during our CloudFormation setup and click Sign In. Okay, this is the main screen where we can create new users. Click here to create a new user. I'm going to create a new user called Test User 1. I'm going to have the product generate a new SSH key pair. If I have my own key that I would like to use, I can choose this option instead and upload the public key. Here we can specify our S3 encryption levels. By default, we use SSE S3, which is S3's provided encryption. I'm going to enable shared directories. This is a feature of SFTP Gateway that allows you to put files on S3 that will then automatically be synced to every user you create. Similarly, I'm going to enable the download directory for this user. This will create a single download directory on S3 that will allow you to place files for only this user to download via SFTP. The rest of the settings I'm going to leave as the default, which is the default bucket name and the destination prefix in that bucket for where your files will end up. If you want to provide a custom S3 bucket for each user, you can do that by filling in these properties. Click Save. Okay, this is a welcome message that is presented to you when you save a user. You can copy and paste this and then send it to your user with instructions on how to access the SFTP server using the key that just got generated. You can see that the key was downloaded right here. Now that we've created a user, I'll show you how to connect to the SFTP server and upload a file as that user. You can use any SFTP client, such as FileZilla or WinSCP. I will show you how to connect using the command line. In order to use the key that got downloaded in a Linux or Mac OS environment, we need to change the permissions of the key that was generated. We can do this by running the following command. Now that the permissions are correct, we can access the SFTP user using the SFTP command line tool. We use the -i parameter to specify the key that we want to use. The user name is testuser1, and the host name we can get from we say yes to accept the new key, and we are now connected to the SFTP server. If you notice, we should have 2 running EC2 instances now, one in each availability zone. Every time you connect via SFTP client, you will hit one of the 2 servers. So by default, each user's account is created with 4 subdirectories. The downloads directory is what syncs files from S3 to the SFTP server for users to download. The uploads directory has write permission for the user so they can upload files. Anything that lands in the uploads directory will immediately be transferred to the S3 bucket when the file is finished uploading. The shared directory is like downloads and will receive files that the users can download from the SFTP server. However, unlike the downloads, which are unique to this single user, the shared directory is common across all users of SFTP Gateway. The local directory is like a normal SFTP server directory. Users can upload, download, delete, or create subdirectories in this directory as often as they wish. Let's upload a sample file. Okay, for this example, I'm going to upload a file called SFTP Gateway logofinal.png. We do that using the SFTP put command. Okay, the file has now been uploaded to the SFTP server. But now, if we try to look at the directory, we see that it is not there. That is because the file has already been transferred to S3. By default, the SFTP Gateway server will remove files from the SFTP server itself once they are safely stored in S3. This allows S3 to be the source of truth for files instead of SFTP Gateway. If you want users to be able to download files that they have previously uploaded, you can point the upload destination to a download directory. See our knowledge base for examples on how to set up a configuration like this. Let's check out S3 to see our file. The bucket name that I configured when launching our stack was SFTP Gateway v2 demo. The user I created was test user 1. Files will land in the uploads directory, and you can see here it is, our file that we had previously uploaded. Now, let's show an example of how to use the Downloads folder. If I go into Downloads, I can put a file here using the console or the S3 API or CLI. Let's put a file here again to upload. Okay, so now that this file has been uploaded to the Downloads directory, it will automatically sync to the shared EFS mount and available to either EC2 instance for download by the user. This may take a few minutes because the synchronization process runs every couple minutes. There, we can see the file has been synchronized to the server. It is now available for the user to download via SFTP. You may create as many users as you want using the admin web interface. You may also use the command line interface or the REST-style API to programmatically create users of SFTP Gateway. Refer to our documentation and knowledge base for examples on how to use some of these advanced features. Thanks for checking out SFTP Gateway version 2.0.